Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, the sun creeping over the horizon, and you feel adrift. No real urgency, no real drive, just another day blending into the last, and so you do what you've always done. Sip your coffee, scroll through the news, maybe complain about the state of the world. But let me tell you something, that's a disaster. The first battle of the day is won or lost the moment you open your eyes. And the truth is, most people over 60 are losing it. They wake up without a clear reason to get out of bed. No compelling challenge, no mission, nothing that demands their engagement. Instead, they stumble into the day passively, allowing old routines and habits to dictate their actions. This is a mistake, a profound one, because how you start your morning sets the tone for the rest of your life. The problem isn't just that people over 60 have fewer external obligations, it's that without structure, they fall into the trap of comfort. Comfort unchecked becomes stagnation, stagnation becomes decline, and before they know it, they've spent months, even years, merely existing rather than living. This is why it's essential to wake up with a deliberate sense of purpose, an aim, a goal, something to drive you forward. Purpose isn't something that naturally appears when external responsibilities fade. It's something that must be forged. When people retire, they often think they've earned the right to do nothing, but the truth is that meaning in life comes from struggle, from effort, from the pursuit of something valuable. Without this, time loses its weight. Days blur together, and slowly a creeping sense of emptiness sets in. That's why waking up and immediately directing your attention towards something meaningful is critical. This doesn't mean burdening yourself with overwhelming responsibilities. It means intentionally defining what your mornings will be about. Maybe it's dedicating time to writing, reading, or studying a subject that's always interested you. Maybe it's working on a personal project, something creative, something intellectual, something physical. The specifics matter less than the discipline behind them. The key is to have a reason, a tangible why before the day even begins. Momentum is everything. The moment you allow yourself to start the day aimlessly, you reinforce a passive mindset that carries into everything else. But when you wake up with purpose, when you set a clear direction for the morning, you activate a psychological shift. You take control. And taking control over your mornings means taking control over your life. There's a stark difference between waking up with intent and simply waking up. One leads to growth, engagement, and a sense of fulfillment. The other leads to gradual disengagement from life itself. And after 60, the choice you make each morning becomes more important than ever. Because the reality is this, you don't have time to waste, and the way you begin each day determines whether you keep moving forward or start slipping backward. Your body is not separate from your mind, it is the foundation upon which everything else is built. And if you neglect it, everything else begins to collapse. Too many people over 60 fall into the trap of thinking that aging is just a slow decline, something they have no control over, but that's a lie. The reality is that how you move, or fail to move, dictates how well you think, how well you feel, and ultimately how long you remain capable of truly living. The worst thing you can do in the morning is remain still. Staying in bed too long, lounging in a chair for hours, moving as little as possible. These habits send a message to your body that it is no longer needed. And when your body gets that message, it responds accordingly. Muscles weaken, joints stiffen, energy levels drop, and the slow decay of inactivity begins to take its toll. The human body is designed for movement. When it doesn't move, it starts to break down. This isn't about vanity or chasing some idealized version of youth. It's about maintaining strength, resilience, and functionality for as long as possible. Movement isn't just about the body, it's about the brain. Study after study has shown that physical activity directly impacts cognitive function. People who remain physically active have sharper minds, better memory, and a reduced risk of neurodegenerative diseases. This means that when you make movement a part of your morning, you're not just strengthening your body, you're protecting your ability to think clearly, to stay engaged with the world, and to maintain your independence. The kind of movement matters. It's not enough to shuffle around the house or do a few casual stretches. The body responds to challenge. That means engaging in activities that push you slightly beyond your comfort zone. Walking at a brisk pace, lifting weights, practicing mobility and flexibility exercises. It means treating movement not as a chore, but as a necessity, and it means doing it daily. One of the most dangerous myths about aging is that people should take it easy. But taking it easy is often just a slow surrender. Strength is built through resistance, both physically and mentally. Every morning you have the opportunity to reinforce strength or allow weakness to creep in. And over time, those small choices add up. The difference between a person who moves with purpose every morning and one who doesn't is massive. One maintains vitality, sharpness, and control over their own life. The other gradually fades. That choice is yours to make, but know this: if you don't challenge your body, life will challenge you in ways you won't be prepared for. The mind is not a static thing. It is either growing or it is withering. And after 60, the biggest danger is not physical aging, but mental stagnation. Too many people assume that once they reach a certain age, their capacity for learning and deep thinking diminishes. But that is simply not true. The reality is that the mind is like a muscle. It needs to be engaged, challenged, and exercised daily. If you don't use it, you lose it. And for many people, the slow decline into mental dullness isn't a result of age itself, but of years spent neglecting intellectual stimulation. The way you start your morning determines the sharpness of your mind throughout the day. Many people wake up and immediately fill their heads with passive, meaningless information. Mindless television, doom scrolling on their phones, or rehashing the same unproductive thoughts over and over again. This kind of mental inactivity creates a dull, sluggish mind. Instead, the morning should be a time to actively engage your intellect. Reading something challenging, writing down your thoughts, or engaging in meaningful conversations stimulates the brain and keeps it agile. The difference between a person who starts their day by scrolling through social media and one who starts by reading a book or writing in a journal is enormous. One allows the mind to atrophy, the other sharpens it like a blade. People often underestimate the power of writing. Writing is not just a way to communicate, it is a way to think. When you write, you are forced to organize your thoughts, clarify your beliefs, and articulate your ideas. It doesn't matter whether it's a journal entry, a letter, or even just notes about something you've learned. What matters is the act of putting thoughts into words. Writing refines the mind, and over time it strengthens your ability to reason, to reflect, and to express yourself with clarity. Speaking and engaging in meaningful conversation is just as important. Many people, as they age, retreat into smaller social circles, limiting their interactions to routine conversations about trivial matters. But the mind thrives on deep, challenging discussion, seeking out conversations that require thought, whether through mentorship, discussion groups, or simply making an effort to talk about ideas rather than just events, keeps the brain active and engaged. A mind that is engaged in thoughtful discussion is a mind that remains alive. Intellectual decay is not inevitable. It is a choice. A lifetime of experience means nothing if it is not actively used, refined, and expanded. After 60, mental engagement is not optional, it is essential. And every morning is an opportunity to either sharpen the mind or allow it to grow dull. The choice is simple: grow or fade. The greatest misconception about retirement is that freedom means detachment, that once you've put in your years of work, you are entitled to step back and focus solely on yourself. But real fulfillment does not come from idleness, it comes from responsibility. The human mind and spirit are wired for purpose, and when that sense of duty is stripped away, life loses its weight. It becomes hollow. Many people over 60 find themselves drifting, not because they lack time, but because they lack meaning. And meaning is found in responsibility, specifically in giving back. Years of experience, wisdom, and lessons learned mean nothing if they are not passed on. The younger generations are struggling, lost in a world that is more complex, more chaotic, and more uncertain than ever before. And yet many older individuals sit on the sidelines, assuming that their contributions are no longer needed. This is a grave mistake. The truth is, you are needed now more than ever. Whether it's mentoring someone, teaching a skill, or simply being a voice of reason and guidance, your role in the world has not ended just because your formal career has. In fact, it is only now reaching its most valuable stage. Giving back is not just about duty to others. It is about keeping yourself engaged with the world. Isolation leads to decline, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. When people withdraw from meaningful roles, their minds shrink, their energy diminishes, and their sense of purpose fades. Staying engaged, whether through volunteering, coaching, or simply being present for those who need you, keeps you sharp, active, and connected to something greater than yourself. Many people fear aging because they associate it with becoming obsolete. But obsolescence is not a function of age. It is a function of withdrawal. The moment you decide you have nothing left to contribute is the moment you begin to fade. The reality is that every person, no matter their stage of life, has something valuable to offer. Whether it's through storytelling, passing down skills, or offering guidance in areas where experience speaks louder than any textbook, the opportunity to contribute never disappears. The only question is whether you will take it. A life without responsibility is not freedom, it is emptiness. True satisfaction comes from knowing that your presence in the world still matters, that your existence is still making a difference. And after 60, this becomes even more important. Every morning you have a choice. You can retreat further into yourself, or you can step forward and continue to shape the world around you. The difference between a life of meaning and a life of regret is determined by that choice.